I didn't know what I was walking into. I really didn't. I walked in and I've seen us and them. Hours and hours later, alcohol involved. Well, after one stubby was thrown, it was on. I got bullied as a kid, wore glasses, got trained to fight violence with violence, really, really young, and it worked, paid off for me. And the violent reputation was great. It was currency, got the prettiest girl. All the older gangs wanted to know me. It was really, really validating. And I was a very people pleaser as a kid, and that was really feeding that. It was great. And then next thing you know, you're going through the ranks and you're doing it. And then drugs and alcohol kicked in. Drugs are giving me confidence, really giving me that mask. Again, far away from that little boy with glasses. Now I'm in recovery and I want to help the world. If 30 days I feel like this, imagine 30 years, imagine 3 years, but I'm okay with this. I'm good what I've got. Jolie, the best is yet to come. This wasn't on my menu, this shit. No way. Speaking in front of cameras, helping other people, getting vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like
having your own acronyms.
Was not on my fucking menu, man.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming.
Good to be here. Grateful.
Do you wanna like sort of give us a bit of a rundown on like upbringing, childhood?
Yeah, who's Joel Brown, I suppose, yeah?
Yeah.
Joel Brown.
Start early.
Yeah, Joel Brown I always say, he was a boy in a man's world. Like I grew up in an area and a part of a family where you fight violence with violence. An Australian family in a European area called Laylaw in the northern suburbs. And yeah, my old man was also an very active criminal, very active alcoholic, abusive, and drugs were involved as well. And I got bullied as a kid, wore glasses, so I grew up in glasses. And so, you're either the redheaded kid, the glasses kid, or the overweight kid, you know what I mean? That was the go. And so I got picked on a fair bit. So, early doors. So I got trained to fight violence with violence, really, really young. And it worked, paid off for me. You know what I mean? It gave me some reputation of the area and all that kind of stuff, started getting the pretty women of the area because I could. And then, a little bit, couple of years that I was out at year 8, so I was no good at school. My old man pulled me out at year 8 and got me into construction because I was boxing at the time. So I had my first fight at 13.
Were you only child, sorry?
Pardon?
Only child?
No, I had sisters. And yeah, they were out young. They were out at home young. My old man booted them out young. And so I grew up, I found boxing. I really took to it. I was no good at football, no good at ball sports. Hey, I was scared of the ball. But boxing, I went okay at it. I was pretty not too bad at it. And first fight at 13, Aussie titles, Vic titles, Australasians, went to Scotland to fight, and all that kind of gear. And then again, it was validating, you know what I mean? So here I am, a young boy in the northern suburbs, and I had a little bit of reputation, and the violent reputation was great, it was currency, got the prettiest girl. All the older crew, all the older gangs wanted to know me. It was really, really validating, mate. I was seeking my validation. And I was a very people pleaser as a kid, you know what I mean? And that was really feeding that. It was great, really good. Yeah, and then, that intrigued to some little street gangs and in construction and later on in life escalated into some bike clubs and behind the jail bars and then addiction really crept in, so.
You want to, let's pick apart one at a time. So I guess what first led you into the club? What was that journey like?
Yeah, so that journey was like, so I again, so my boxing career started, I had a really, really bad break, okay? And I had a really bad nose break, really bad one. So that kind of fizzled out. Still trained, hit the nightclub scenes, business, doing what I've got to do to survive. And construction was obviously a big part of that as well. Having a background of boxing and, knew how to make some money and stuff. Also, I had some backslappers getting groomed. I was getting groomed, by some older men that I thought were really, really good lads. And they were grooming me, making me feel special, lining my, filling my pockets up with some fast cash and showing me a life that I've never experienced before, man. This is great,
Sorry, just quickly, how old were you then?
I was,
when it first started?
Yeah, when that first started, man, I was probably 21, 22, that's when that started to kind of happen. And I was getting kind of groomed into that life, and that was great. It was currency, like I said before, validating, yes.
Can you just quickly speak about what grooming means?
Yeah, so grooming means, so grooming might, there's all sorts of grooming, but, if I was to, for me to, I'm making you feel good, I'm patting you on the back, I'm buying you some new kicks, I'm opening some doors so you make some money, I'm introducing you into some women, I'm paying for your dinners. That's the source of grooming, and that's what happens. So to make you feel good, I'm going to fix the bill. I'm going to pull out my water cash. I'm going to fix your bill, So automatically I'm thinking this dude's a really cool dude. I'm going to buy you a Gucci bum bag. You know what I mean? I'm going to get some stuff cheap for you, all that kind of stuff. That's a source of grooming.
I'm guessing these guys would have had a bit of power themselves as well, and they would have had some good reputations. They were probably even also giving you like an energetic transfer of like making you feel stronger and more powerful by hanging out with them.
Spot on. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Boosting the ego, essentially.
Boosting my ego, validating, making me feel great. I was a kid in a man's world. How good's this, Nightclubs, didn't wait for lines. Mate, this is the best. All because of this crew, So
looking back, do you think they did it with intention, obviously, or do you think they were just trying to be good people, or they had a...
Yeah, look, I can't answer for that, but I do know one thing. When I, later on in life, when I had the power, because I was also a president of a motorcycle club, I then done it to the young fellas. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I got groomed, and then I started grooming. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I'd, helping some young lads earn and try to structure them. Mate, all I was doing is ruining their life. You know what I mean? So I then done it later on in life.
But with better intentions, you would say?
Nah, it was no really, I look back at it now being clean, sober and spiritually fit, and I think there was no really good intentions. I should have been taking them on the right path, I only knew what I knew.
What you knew,
So, definitely,
Who was your dad when you were like 21? Was he around?
Dad was around, so my dad was an earner. Like he earned, he sold whatever he's done, for money. He worked all the time and stuff like that. But I was allowed to sell drugs. I just wasn't allowed to use them. My old man's was that code, right? Like the weak people use it. We sell it. So that happened for a long, long time. So I wasn't scared of the law.
Is that what an earner is?
An earner, yeah. So you're earning, earning on the side. You're you're shaking and moving. Yeah.
And mum? Where was mum?
Mum was a soldier, man. Mum was just stuck by my dad and all of her brothers and all of us. She was from that old school mentality where just kind of, just shut up. To be honest, I think I said it. I was thinking about it the other day. I always looked for women like that. Like my mum. Like my dad didn't. He would be always out and about, and stuff like that. My mother never asked questions. Where I always looked for women like that.
Makes life way easier.
Oh, it does, man. But I did, man. I looked for women like that, and I used to a lot of toxic relationships. Looking for someone like my mum. But now I look back now, being aware of this stuff, and that wasn't okay. It just was not okay. How my dad was like that. So yeah.
Was it a long process to get to the kind of bikey status, or was it kind of something that just happened really fast for you?
It was really fast. Well, obviously, you're in that life. Life is very, very fast, and you'd always want to be. You'd always want to be part of that crew. See on the news and papers. Next thing you know, I'm amongst it, and the next thing you know, that was great. So, and then next thing you know, you're going through the ranks and you're doing it. And then it's just you're doing it.
If you're still listening, thank you from the heart. These conversations aren't accidental. We approach them with depth and care. And if what you're hearing is resonating with you today, we've created something to walk you through beyond this moment. LC60 was designed as a real support, not a promise. You'll find it in the show notes. Let's get back to the convo.
So that journey started at what, 21 you said?
Yeah. So, bikie stuff coming to about 24 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 24 years old.
And then that journey, like how does it develop? Like where did you start off? Do you start off as like a junior?
Prospecting and stuff like that, hanging around, getting the trust and stuff, and then and moving on,
So being like the male that you were, this dominant character, loved, violence or at least proving that you were like the tougher guy. How does it like going into a club where then now you're the junior and you've got to like do this stuff, like go through the ranks essentially. But is there a phase where you kind of like show your dominance at early stages?
Mate, I just like I've always been a stand-up guy. If I don't want to do, I never kind of went into anywhere promising I can do this, I can get that, I can do all that when I couldn't. I'd always just say, that's what I am. Due to the boxing stuff and due to kind of that, I met so many people around Melbourne because of my boxing. I had a great little reputation. I was Jeb the boxer. So that opened a lot of doors for me. In the good way, but in a bad way as well. Some toxic doors. You know what I mean? So, my reputation alone I didn't have to make noise. I could box. I could box. I could back it up. So no, I didn't really have to make noise or prove myself and stuff like that. I could already box, and that was
Was there any positive annotations that came from that experience? Like, could you look back and say, hey, like, if it wasn't for these moments, these things, like, is there any good that came from it?
Mate, brilliant. So what happened, obviously, so that happened. And then I left that club, and then really spiraled, jail, drug and alcohol and stuff like that. Then later on, I joined another club. And let me tell you, man, that club, the positive things out of that club, I was clean and sober. So I went up to rehab. I got clean in Sydney. And I come back as an active high-ranked member still, and another year in recovery. And all them blokes at that club were right behind me. You know what I mean? They would set mad boundaries. Mate, they absolutely were proud as punch of me, love. That's why when I exited that club, I shook their hands and they were so proud of me doing what I'm doing today. And that was proper brotherhood.
That's beautiful.
I mean? Yeah, it really
that.
is,
Yeah,
man. And I still speak to these people on the daily.
Yeah, wow.
And I help them out as well when they're struggling. And, you know what I mean? So I didn't really have any bad experiences with the club because of that reason. They were just like, mate, good on you. I'm so proud of you. Go do your thing. And I was in shock, but I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know what I mean? This is what brotherhood looks like, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a good way to end that segment,
It really, mate, for me it was. I know I've heard some war stuff, I've heard some really stories, but that's not my journey. Yeah. My journey, that's how it was,
But you dropped so many bombs, and I'm like, there's so much to touch on. Like, let's talk about the jail experience. There's like, I guess it's the lead up and then the time there and then the time out. Can we go through the timelines? Yeah, man. Like,
yeah, man. Look, I've been in the system, since 2004. I was young. Once again, being a boy from the northern suburbs that could have a fight, I've done jail really, really easy. I could box. So, when you're in there and you can box, you're the boy in the unit or the man in the unit holding the boys' pads. Straight away, you've got Africans on your side, the Islands on your side, the Aussies on your side, because it's like, say, somebody that maybe can tattoo, like I'm that unique person that can hold some pads.
Currency.
You're connected.
That's
with
right,
everyone.
the currency, right? So no one wants to burn the bridge with me, not because they're scared of me or nothing like that. No way. But I'm holding the pads. So when people want to get into jail, automatically what they want to do, they want to get fit, they want to change their life. So boxing's one of them. I'm the bloke that can hold the pads. So automatically, I'm okay in them units, right? So for me, jail was okay. You know what I mean? I did not share that bad experience in jail.
Why do people find jail hard though? What do you think?
I think if they go in there with that mask on and try to prove I'm this and I'm that and they're not, and broken promises, I can get this, brother, I can get that, brother, and don't show up, I think it might end up pretty bad for them. If you get involved with nice runners, tobacco, or drugs, it's probably not good. Because again, you're promising stuff you can't control.
How long were you locked up for?
I've been a couple of times. Yeah.
Longest stint? What was the longest stint?
Short stints, long stints.
Yeah. How long was your longest stint?
Longest stint was about 18 months or something.
18 months.
Yeah.
And I guess
there's been heaps of them.
Time alone in there. Like, did you ever have time to like connect with yourself, or were you always busy? Like, did you have like a revelation in there, or was it just like, you're there, you're in bed, you're thinking, what the fuck's going on? Or you're just like, it is what it is. I'm here. Yeah. I'm having fun. Like, what was the experience?
Really, really good question, man. Like, I wasn't aware of drug and alcohol recovery or meditation or prayer when I went into the system, unfortunately. But yeah, sometimes alone, because, you get locked down for days sometimes as well. Something might kick off in a unit and you'd be locked down or whatever that may look. And yeah, man, like you can't control the uncontrollables. I mean, you have to just sit there, and that's why, again, people do jail hard, because a bad phone call or a bad letter or a bad visit, and I shouldn't laugh, but you can see people come back from visits really, really distressed, or a bad phone call. I really tried to stay off the phones as much as possible, you know what I mean? Because I can't control what's out here, right?
Yeah.
I just can't. I just cannot control, so I just do my jail, train and write letters to people. And usually a lot of them letters were sorry letters. I was making amends from jail. I've done a lot of them. I'm sorry, brother, this, that. I'm sorry to ex-girlfriends and stuff. I caught myself doing a lot of that because I was finally clean and sober. So I couldn't get clean and sober without jail. When in jail, maybe 30 days into it, 2 weeks into it, my head started going well and I started getting all these emotions back again. So I'm starting to cry, I'm starting to laugh, I'm starting to smile. And then I'm feeling sorry for, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been better here. So I really hit the pen to the paper.
So looking back, and this is something that I live by every day, is like the worst experience in your life almost always end up being the best thing that always ever happened to you. Would you say that shined light on that for you?
Yeah, 100%. Jail wasn't that for me, but yes, it was. Yeah.
Were you on drugs before you went into jail?
Oh yeah, of course I was.
And then obviously you had no choice but to not do drugs in jail.
But then when I got out, I used again.
Okay.
I used again every single time. I used
Straight
again.
back into it.
Oh yeah, that day.
Oh wow.
That day. All intentions. A friend would come around to see me. I'd be back into it, man.
Yeah, wow.
Can you connect the dots back and understand why you had that addiction? I know obviously you touched on like the bullying and stuff like that, but
man.
was there something deeper?
Yeah,
that
look,
really
the why was, I'm still trying to work that out and I've got a bit to go, but the why for me, what I've connected as yet, and there's a little bit to go, is boxing gave me validation. It made me, I was shit scared of going back to that little boy with glasses. I was fucking petrified of it. I wasn't getting the girls. I was getting bullied, okay? All right, so boxing, boom, grouse, validating, awesome, okay? That fizzled out within fighting. Okay, still had the reputation. Then doing business, drug dealing, whatever it may look, was validating. I was the man that you needed stuff from, The womenizing, I was the boy that was getting all the pretty women. That was a spruik, that was validating. And then drugs and alcohol kicked in. Wow, how good is this? Drugs are giving me confidence. You know what I mean? It's making me talk to any girl I want. It's making me, really giving me that mask of that, again, far away from that little boy with glasses. So that's what I've kind of connected as yet. The drugs and alcohol are the solution. They're only the tip of the iceberg for me. I've got a lot of behavior issues, my ego, my addicted to women, my relationship stuff, my resentments, man, I could bit on.
Yeah. I want to touch on something that I, as a bystander, I evaluate on other human beings, and it's something that what you're saying right now can be your biggest blessing or your biggest curse. And there's a certain type of human, I don't know if it's a personality trait, whether it's in their DNA, but when they do something, they're the best at it and they go hard at it. Yeah. So when you're doing something, like when you go to the bikie gang, you run the gang. I'm the fucking president. You start doing drugs, I'm doing the most drugs. But if you can turn that around and turn that into something positive, you're running the positivity. Yeah. You're doing that the better than any other cunt. And there's a character, and it's not everyone, but if you're that character and you can capture that energy and send it in the right direction, you're the best at whatever you do.
It's transferable skills, transferable skills are massive to me today. You're dead right, man. You're dead right. As a boxer, I wanted to be the best. As a drug dealer, I wanted to be the biggest. And I wasn't, but I'm just saying I wanted to be. And I've done my bit to as a member of a motorcycle club. I needed to be the president. I got to the president. I mean, I did for 5-6 years. And you're right. Now I'm in recovery, and I want to help the world. You know what I mean? Like it's just that transfer of schools, and I really, 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 like you said, is it a blessing or a curse? Mate, I had a lot of dark days, but if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. My resume is priceless. You can't get that at Safeway. I can't fake that stuff. It is what it is today. You know what I mean? So
just going on transferable skills, explain what that is. And
so transferable skills, I've been put on some really, and it's irrelevant what really situations, to be honest with you, but some really sticky, heated situations, being in that lifestyle. And being the person I am, I navigated out of it. So today, you know, the saying, there's not one, there's more than one way to skin the cat, you know, like, it's never a no, it's a not yet. And, you know, so today having them Toronto schools, you know, I'm dealing with some people that are really sick, man, like really, really, really mentally ill. But instead of just having a really closed mind and just like one answer, I can go around the bout and we can navigate, you know, what's good for them and how we can work that out. And that comes, and yes, that's right. And that comes from that lifestyle. You know, I had to deal with a chapter of, you know, 50 men, all different personalities, right? All wanting 50 different things. You know what I mean?
How was that being a manager of 50 men?
Mate, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I looked, it was like, you know, I was a people pleaser, remember? Let's not forget I'm a people pleaser, okay? So I went over and above tried to make everyone happy, you know, and I loved that, you know what I mean? That's what I got out of it. I didn't want to,
what was the most difficult part being a president?
Trying to keep everyone happy, you know, trying to keep everyone happy and trying to stay liked, stay loved, stay voted in, you know?
I'm not a psychologist, but looking back, do you think that the reason why you were like that, did you seek validation from your father? Do you think that's where it stemmed from?
Yeah, well, I dare say so. Look, my dad loved me more than anything. He only knew what he knew. That's why he, you know, my dad's a changed person today. Unbelievably. It's like, mate, he's not even the same person. But back then, he seen his little boy getting bullied, okay? And he used to just, you know, teach violence for violence. You know, you're talking about back in the 90s, right? This is what we done. We didn't know much. And yeah, you know, my old man was, he always wanted me to be better and stuff like that. But I know I got kids now. I can resonate with that, but I know what to do now. You know what I mean?
What would you advise your kid if they came home and said they were getting bullied though? Like, how would you tell them to treat it?
Yeah, man. Like, just turn your right cheek, man.
Really?
Man, it'd be hard. No. It'd be hard, man. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I would probably, you know, have a yarn to my missus going, oh, no, fucking, you know, where's their dad? I want to find you, you know? But that's where my head goes, bro. That's where my head goes. Yeah. Or maybe that's an option too. Maybe I pull the father aside and say, hey, buddy, but I know how to navigate. You look at 2 years ago, in addiction, mate, I would have had that school locked down. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would have really, really, really caused them. And I would have been fun. I was doing this noble thing for my son. Yeah. But if he turns the right cheek, man, I'll have to turn my right cheek. Because my left cheek's been cheated on, it's been mentally abused, it's been abused, it's been lied to, ripped off. If I project with that left cheek, I'm gonna get that back. So I know it's hard, especially coming from that life, but I need to try to turn my right cheek. So I need to teach. My video's got to match my audio today. 100%. You know, so if I'm sitting there telling my son, if I'm doing all these foul behaviors and telling my son to be a good kid, well, that's what my dad done, you know, and I love my father, brother. I really do. Mate, he's grouse. But he was telling me to do all this stuff when he was doing that, mate. I wanted to be my father, you know what I mean? I've always wanted to be my father. He was a gangster. Now today he wants to be like me. That's the truth.
Were you close with him though?
Yes, very. Yeah. He took me boxing every day.
Yeah, well.
You know, very hard, you know what I mean? Pushy. I think he lived his dream through me. He seen I was good at something. I think he just fucking really wanted to drive that, bro, you know? But,
because,
you know,
going back on the bullying thing, I think have we spoken about it? When I work with kids that are being bullied, we don't, you know, you could either say to someone, fight the kid, right? Or you could say, turn the other cheek, right? Which both take energy, right? Ignoring someone takes energy and fighting someone takes energy.
Yeah.
So if someone says to me, look at your head, how big it is. Look at your eyebrows, how big they are. Right? I'll say, you know what? They're my eyebrows. Yeah. Your eyebrows are your eyebrows.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
We're all just different. And that's okay. Yeah. That takes way less energy.
Yeah.
Right? So the advice is to talk your way through it, essentially.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if someone says to me, hey, why is your name Michelle? It's a girl's name. I'm going to say, that's my name, and your name is your name. And
okay, but
it takes less energy.
But bullying can be way more intense than someone just saying, oh, look at your eyebrows. Like, what if it is like a bit of physical? Did it ever get physical before you made it physical? Or was it just like kids would just pick on you?
Glasses,
say comments.
Remember this Reddit, mate? Oh, I got picked on by a Redditor kid. And I was like, what? Are you serious?
It usually starts everything
Verbal.
starts with verbal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
These
And
days
then
on
it
the
becomes-
internet.
And then
You
it
know?
comes and it
Yeah.
comes and it comes. And then it becomes physical, right?
Yeah.
If
The
you're-
reason why I want to understand it is because, like, you know, I'm in the phase of having kids and I want to know what to teach my kids. Like, I think if don't get me wrong, if I live my life by, I will turn the right cheek 100%. But I think from a young age, I think telling them to turn their right cheek could be detrimental to their future because then now you're creating like, I don't know. I don't think it creates like weakness, but I also think like standing your ground, especially as a boy, you need to know how to do that so then you can protect your family one day.
But you can stand your ground and turn the cheek at the
correct.
same.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. Like maybe it's like telling them, hey, if anyone ever gets fucking physical with you or says
fight
something
back.
a bit
Yeah,
intense,
defend
I think
yourself.
it's important to
Defend
like
yourself.
100% fight violence with violence in that sense because you want to not because of the fight then, but what it teaches you. Because I think if you fight at a young age, you won't fight at an older age.
I resonate with that stuff. I love that, bro. I know you're talking to a fighter. I get that. But the feeling of winning a fight, the feeling of getting the bully, the validation you get is fucking addictive, bro. Okay? So guess what? Then you know what you do? So you're not getting bullied now, okay? But then you see old Ryan over there getting bullied. You're protecting him. So I was to
I
protect
think
that.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, but
but
a
not
really
with
good point.
violence.
No,
though, not
that's
with
a really
violence,
good
though.
point.
I
Think
just
about what he's saying.
I
though,
feel
you know?
like that was me growing up too. Like
protecting.
I'd be very protective for other people. I never
But-
fought
but
because
not
I
with
wanted to
violence.
fight.
But why is he being protective of others? He's not being protective of others because
it's a beautiful thing
of
to do.
protecting others.
Yeah.
He's being
Feeding my
protective-
own
He's feeding his
validation.
own
Feeding my own.
validation.
And that's the truth.
I
But I
reckon
didn't
that's
know this was
100%
happening.
And that's work, right? That's
Yeah.
work. That means Joel's done the work, right?
Mm.
Because there's a thing in psychology called metacognition, right?
Mm.
You're actually you're able to kind of think about how you're thinking.
Yeah, cognitive thoughts. Yeah.
You're kind of, when you say something, you're able to kind of see yourself from the outside in rather than kind of doing things and then just.
I saw you do that. I saw there was a video you made. You got locked in a car park, and you actually spoke about it.
So true.
You said like, man, normally I would.
My first reaction,
Yeah.
I absolutely, I got locked into a car park. I was embarrassed. Okay. I was embarrassed. All right. Broad daylight in front of the gym. Yeah. Like I'm fucking Joel Brown. I get locked in a car park. My first response was, okay. And this is what I'd done in my own head. I'm telling you, I'll give you the red hot tip. You know what I mean? This is the stuff that goes in my head. I said, I'm going to come back tomorrow. Okay. And I'm going to get this bloke to lock me in. And I'm going to embarrass him. I'm going to drag him around, hurt him real fucking bad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
But hang on, man. I shouldn't be parking there, brother. It's his, you know, he locked, you know what I mean?
Did this happen back then or this happened
This just
recently?
happened months
okay.
ago. But that's that pause I've got today.
Yeah. 100%. But that's
it's
instinct,
awareness.
bro. You need to have
That's
that
right.
because you can have the thought and then you can discern, do I act on this or do I park it?
They say you're not in
sometimes
control.
it's worth acting on.
You're not in control of your first thought, but you're in control of the thought that you do with your
spot on.
your first
But
thought.
man, I really resonate with that stuff because I'm the same. Standing there and fight, I just know what it done to me. It's very addictive. It's beautiful feeling hitting the bully straight in that mouth, mate. And then you see him go bully Ryan. Next minute, you stand in a Ryan, right? Next minute, you know, the grade 6 is fucking starting to talk to you, mate. You know, it's currency, man. I know,
I
done
think you
it.
need
I'm
to
a
know when
fighter.
to stop. Like project the
but grade
power,
6, how do
project
you-
raw your chest, but
Yeah.
don't actually hit.
But
I think that's the
as a
does that make
12-year-old,
sense?
no.
Like
As a
it's like
12-year-old,
lions in the wild, man. They come, they raw.
Yeah.
The guy with the bigger raw, that one buckles and runs away.
I know.
They
but
don't
I-
need to fight unless it's two like machos. Then
Yeah.
one of them will end up fighting.
But remember one thing, I'm 38 years old. Okay, it's taken me. It's taken me since grade 6 to 2 years ago to realize this stuff.
So
that
what was,
stuff.
What, let's
12-year-old tell me no way.
What was that journey? What was the journey? How did you get to that point?
Yeah,
in
my
your life?
fork, man. My fork in the road, man. I hit rock bottom a lot of times. Okay, I was homeless. I was living out of a stripy bag.
Is this post bikie club?
Nah, this is in the club.
In the club?
Yeah.
You were like homeless?
Yeah, I was homeless. I was living out of a stripy bag. I was living out of a clubhouse. I was living out of my car.
Still president though?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Still
had the
president
mask
in
on,
that
brother.
state?
Yeah, of course.
So
man.
they couldn't see what was going on.
They
to
knew
that
I was
extent, or-
on. They knew I was on, but don't ask, don't get lied to kind of thing. You know what I'm trying to say? They knew I was on. But
So, Joel,
Yep.
My understanding from bikie clubs is that there's like a zero
You're
tolerance.
correct. You are
to
definitely
drugs, right?
correct. Yeah. So
What is it about
there was
that?
a zero. You weren't allowed to take ice. And I know the club, I can't speak of other clubs today. I can only talk about part of my one. And if we seen the boys dropping the ball, by all means, we would help them. You know, they would help. What's wrong? You okay? Support. That's what brotherhood is.
That's nice.
I was at the top. Okay. So I was
You
at
were
the
the
top
helper.
here. I was the helper. Remember that. I'm helping other people here. Why? Because that old thing, you know, you point the finger at you, freeze pointing back to you. You know, I was doing that. So as long as I was helping people, the light wasn't shining on me. You know what I mean? I was dark, man, you know. But I remember you're only doing club once a week, if that, you know, once every 2 weeks. So, you know, so you're out of the eyes, you're out of the views, you know what I mean? So I was homeless. The Fork in the Road moment. Man, I was rock bottom. I don't know what rock bottom was. I had no money. I had $1 million. I had $0. I had I lost my first baby mama and her kid to addiction. They asked me to leave the club and put down my addiction, and I didn't. I just didn't, man. I just put it first. Fork in the road moment for me was, I remember I woke up outside of Clifton Hill Macca's.
Sorry, just 1 second. You said you lost your baby mama.
Yes.
Like, did she pass away?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
She, I was with Cartier and my firstborn Presley. He was about 1, I think. And again, neglected him. And she just goes, mate, it's either this or this. And I chose this, you know, and that was it. So I was just, you know, I didn't see him for years. I seen him in supervised visits because I couldn't be trusted with him. I'd fall asleep, been up for too many days, and here I am buying him things, and I thought I was a really grouse father. You know what I mean? I was buying him presents, but I wasn't present, you know? So, but that penny drop moment for me, man, was I woke up outside again. Like I said, I'd pass out because I've been up for days and days in my car, anywhere I was. And I passed out outside of Clifton Hill Macca's. I woke up again, I drove home. Now, where I live in Preston, it's right near Northlands, so it's the hood. Okay. And I pulled up to my driveway and I'm looking just this old commission house, and man, I see my daughter, she was 9 months old, and my missus. Now, I haven't been home for days. I've been out cheating, robbing, stealing, thieving, all sorts, okay? My missus comes on the stoop, and she's got my little 9-month-year-old, and they're smiling. They're happy to see me, as much as she wanted to pump me full of questions and say, where have you been, you fucking skunk? You know what I mean? Like, they're smiling because they're happy I'm home. You know what I mean? And my little daughter, and I just thought, hang on, if I don't fucking do so. Now, I got told this years ago on site, okay, and I turned on the fella. The fella turned around to me, goes, if you don't pull up, some other male who's going to be sleeping in your bed and he's going to be parenting your kid. I nearly bashed the bloke. I said, listen here, mate, not me. Well, what do you know? Cartier and Presley, that's what happened. So here I am thinking, mate, this is going to happen again. Fuck, if I don't pull up, this girl, everyone's got their
limit, yeah.
Their limit, and mate, this is going to happen. And my little daughter, it's a different love having a girl. Mate, it is, right? And I thought, mate, so that was the first time I mentioned rehab. I went home with my tail between my legs, and I said to her, I've been saying I had a problem for a while, you know, and I said, all right, let's just have a look at this rehab stuff. And, you know, I've slept for 4 days. She fed me. Usually I'd get up and go again. That's what used to happen. So we started talking about rehabs. I had some really good friends some rehabs in Melbourne. And I thought, I wasn't too sold on it, because you put me in a Melbourne rehab, right? I'm going to know half the rehab. I'm going to bump into Sheilas I've been with, or that I want to get with, right? Guys I've done crime with, or I want to do crime with. I don't know. I was going to do it, but I wasn't too sold on it. Opportunity come through with the CFMEU, and I went over to Sydney. And see, able to do that was, if I wanted to be in rehab, I'm still Joel Brown, president of the club. You know what I mean? So that's my ego. I went to Sydney. I was allowed to just leave that at the gate. Just leave all that shit. I was just another bare bum in the shower. So I able to get vulnerable and surrender, wave that white flag. So that's why I got well. You know, because I left that shit at the gate, man. I'm in Sydney. No one cares who you are, buddy. It was great. You know?
How long were you in Sydney for?
28 days. Yeah, 28 days intense rehab.
What was that journey like?
It was different, man. You know, I went in there, and the first session I went into, talking about a bit step free stuff, talking about God. Mate, what do you mean God, mate? You know, and then we're talking about God, and then we stand up and stand in a circle. This is my first session. And we're holding hands, mate. So when we used the black phone after, I said to my missus, hey, listen, I'm not too sure about this joint, man. I think it's, I was sort of thinking, I think this is like a call. I wasn't too sure on this, you know. If I was in Sydney, I would have called an Uber home. It's not a drama there, you know what I mean? It was just too far, right? So, you know, I had a little listen. I waved that white flag. I hung around long enough to hear a message, and I did. I heard the message. And that message was, because I always used to get arrogant, mate, you're not an alcoholic, you don't even know. Because my drug of choice was meth. And to me, if you're a cocaine or alcoholic, mate, you weren't an addict, I'm an addict. You know what I mean? Like just that ego shit. And an alcoholic shared a story and I realized it resonated with it. And I thought, well, all right, I'm in the right place, aren't I? You know what I mean? So I hung around.
Yeah.
Kept wide.
Was there a light bulb moment in there? Like some sort of flicker, some flick?
That stuff, sit in a circle with a 50-year-old alcoholic or even a 19-year-old gambler, and the stuff they would say, I would resonate with. And I'm ice, you know? I'm from gang backgrounds and stuff. And so I was resonating with the things that you were sharing. So to me, I was like, okay, this is what addiction looked like. Big light bulb moment. I'd be in a really, really dirty mood. Could not be fucked. And would be going to a meeting that night. I would go to a meeting and I would walk out like I was on meth. I'd feel great. The power in that room, the high power stuff. That's when I knew it was magical. I thought, fuck, okay. That's how powerful meetings are, aren't they? You know, like, you know, they say if you've got a problem, share it and you half it. You know, that's what we're doing. So yeah.
And God, like you say, they were talking about God. What was your relationship with God from a kid all the way to that point in rehab? Yeah,
did not have a relationship with God at all. We grew up in just a Protestant family. You know, my old man always drummed into me, you know, anything kind of Catholic, you know, priests and all that kind of shit, touching, all that kind of gear, right? And I was just a hater of it, didn't really think much of it. And, you know, I lost my uncle and lost some really close friends and I read the news and I thought, mate, if there was a God, why is this stuff happening? You know, that kind of shit, right? Today, I pray every day. I pray every day. God's in my corner. You know what I mean? No matter what. I try to hand it over as the best I possible today. I have to hand it over because my will got me in jails and rehabs and homelessness. So I've got to hand myself over on a daily, you know.
What would you say the biggest driving force of not stepping back into that field? Like what would be the number one driving force?
As in, what do you mean?
What's the number one driving force for you today to not go and do meth on the streets again?
Mate, you know, I didn't stop drugs because I hate them. I'll give you the red hot tip. I stopped because I love them too much. Does that make sense? I'll give you the red hot tip. I loved everything that come with them, the gambling, the women, the fast cars. Mate, there's currency, right? And I fucking loved how I felt on them. That's why I had to stop, because I loved them too much. I was powerless over my drug of choice. Yeah. You know, that today is I have to show up, you know. Make no mistake, I can get on these cameras and I can power share and everyone think I'm a really great A-grade recovering addict. If I don't do the drill, I'll leave here and go get on. That's the truth. I'm not recovered. I'm recovering and that's the go. Yeah, you know, if I can admit myself that today, every day, I'm okay. I can't even say my kids, brother, because I cut my daughter's umbilical cord and I took off on my national run and didn't come over 10 days. I cut the cord. I left the hospital because she was born on the national run around that time. So I cut the cord, released her into this world, and I took off.
What's a national run?
National run's when all Australia gets together and we ride around and stuff like that. Okay. You know, yeah. It's a national run. That's what I done.
So it was a bikie commitment.
Spot on. Spot on. Yeah. And that's my firstborn, you know, that's my last born daughter, you know, so that's only 2 years ago, you know. Yeah. You know, so that's what I done. You know, so I can't even say my kids, man. I'll be honest with you, you know, like it ain't money, it ain't my kids, it's not my loved ones. I've stood over them many, many times to get on drugs and alcohol, brother. And I think it's just admitting that I am an addict and I'm powerless. I'm powerlessness over it. I think that's what helps me on today. Like I said, I can super share. I can power share. He's going to think I'm a really good bloke, but I can leave here and go get on, brother. That's the truth.
What's the drill?
My drill is I wake up every day and I pray. I get on my hands and knees and I surrender, to God. of my understanding. And then I do a bit of meditation with Sarah Blondin that goes for about 8 minutes. It's called Let It Go, Surrender. She's got some really good ones. I can't do meditation in a quiet room. I'm not probably ready for that yet, but I'll guide it when I can.
Yeah.
And I'll either do that or I'll do a bit of breathing. Breathing helps me really, really ripper.
Cool.
And then I'll get a second opinion all day, so I'll reach out to people in a fellowship. I've got a really good sponsor, and obviously giving service. I give service today, so I help out people in the field, and they really remind me what it's like back there, Yeah.
When you say people in the field, is that recovering addicts?
Recovering addicts or struggling addicts, I work with them today.
Okay.
I don't only work with them to get paid. I actually do some service. I take a lot of them through steps. You don't get paid for that stuff.
Yeah.
But I need to do it. That's me. I've got to do the right thing when no one's watching.
How
Does
do
that
you
make
get in
sense?
contact with these people?
On Instagram. So I've got socials.
Okay.
I was never because just being a part of the club and being part of that little life, I just thought socials was like a bad lag. I never really looked at it like that. But I got told, Jolie B, mate, if you want to get your name out there, get on socials, turn the camera around, share your journey. So I started doing it. It was cringy, bro.
You gotta drop your ego.
What
That's
the
for
fuck,
sure.
man?
You
I used
gotta
to
drop your ego.
I used to do a video like take me 10 times. Man, my voice looks shit. I look pale. I look skinny. You know what I mean? All this stuff. Where I was like, fuck, but you know what I mean? But
It's for a good cause.
mate, I just started sharing it. It really grew legs. And mate, it really grew legs. You know what I mean? Opportunities. Today I work with 16 yards. I do a bit with them. I do a bit with everyone due to socials.
What's the feeling like when someone messages you that you don't know and they say, "Hey, Joel, your story touched me," or "You kind of helped me change my life"?
Yeah, but
What's that kind of feeling like? Describe it.
mate, I've earned a lot of money. I've had Lamborghinis, Mercedes, you name it, I promise you. Okay. I've got 2 beautiful kids. I've had 2 houses once upon a time. Mate, that there is like, fuck, man. Like I can't explain to you. Like I don't, but I feel like screenshotting and showing the world. I'm that proud of it. I think myself, mate, that's gangster. That's actually gangster. That's the gangster shit I've been looking for all my life.
Do you get emotional?
I need to switch. I do because, man, being a people pleaser as well, I got to set boundaries. At the start, I wasn't setting boundaries. I've got to set boundaries now.
What's that look like?
Well, if you're on drugs and alcohol, and you're intoxicated and they ring me, I'll just say, mate, get your head on pillow and call me tomorrow. I can't entertain anybody with drugs and alcohol for myself or them. First of all, I'm not going to get through to them because I know how I was. And it's a slippery slope. I go catch up these people. They've got active drugs. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. I just set my boundaries, boundaries with women. So I will entertain women at the start, okay? But I will always hand pass them to another female, okay? I don't know if I can be trusted with a pretty woman. I'm not too sure. I'm addicted to women and relationships. You know what I mean? So and my missus knows that. So I get them. I'll entertain them, but I will handball them. I just think women on women and men on men is the right way. And I'm not being, rude. I just think that's the right way.
I really respect how you're like, it is what it is. I know what it is. Like I'm not in full control. I'm addicted to things.
Yes.
And to have that self-awareness is a beautiful thing. Not many people would be able to do that. And to sit here and say, I'm not capable, I'm going to handball, I'm going to start it, I'm going to handball. I'm not able to go there. That's beautiful.
I've got to, man. My recovery's first, bro. Yeah. And the why, man. It's the how. Honesty, open-mindedness, willingness spells how. That's how I've got to live my life on the daily. I've got to be honest. I've got no open mind. And I've got to be willing, even getting invited here today, open mind. I didn't even hesitate. Yep, let's go. Because I don't know what this is going to bring me. And I've got to be willing. I've got to go do it. Action step, So I need my how every single day. And I've got to get honest, man. Like that's the stuff, honesty. Like, mate, can I be trusted? I'm not too sure. So you know what? We'll just leave that alone.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of self-awareness. I know you might not see it like that, but it takes a lot to they'll just, I might just try it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, you got to know.
Well, it's keeping reservations, and reservations are very fucking dangerous. Like if I keep reservations, I'll tell a little lie. Secrets keep being real sick. I'll entertain it. Maybe not today, but later on down the track.
I think that what you're saying right now is a massive form of self-love. I feel like that's a massive, massive form of self-love, not putting yourself in that position to maybe sleep up and understanding who you are and just, I'm going to respect myself enough to not put myself in that position. Yeah. That's a big self-love thing.
Yes.
And it's good.
And I feel like that self, it's like a loop, the self-love, that self-respect then gives you a better connection with God, because God can respect you because you're respecting yourself, you know? And it's this loop. And then through having that connection with God and submitting every day, all you need to do now is you take the action and the rest is being done for you.
Yeah, man.
Like you take the action of coming to the podcast, taking that video, helping the person, but you just take your actions now lead to a different result because you have God in your corner.
I just got to let go. Surrender. You know, like my script's already written. I just got to stop stealing the pen. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? This is it's already written. I just got to stop stealing the pen. So, like you said, you know, I said yes to coming today, and it's in God's hands. And where this leads me, leads me. You know what I mean? So, He'll give me what I need when I need it. I'll give you a red hot tip. You know? Yeah. So,
sure. I think it's a really good. It's beautiful how you speak about, you know. Even all of us can kind of resonate with this as men when we get to a certain age. And what age did it start for you when you started to kind of drop your ego and say, you know what, maybe I am wrong, right? Because that's when growth really happens, right?
Yeah, man.
Even if you are the expert in the field, we are wrong sometimes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And we need to kind of have that humility, you know, be humble.
Humbling, yeah. Yeah, spot on.
But also, don't you get to a point where you realize that there is no right or wrong and it's all just experiences that have lessons built into them, and you know, like it depends what if your perception is, I want to gain money out of this, and you don't gain money, and you look at it as a loss. But if right at the start you looked at it as this is going to be one of the biggest lessons of my life, it's what you're putting your attention on at the start that then gives you the mental state of like thinking this is going to be wrong or right. But really there is no wrong or right. There's just different perspectives and different outcomes. And it's just the way you perceive it along the way. Ultimately, we're all here just having experiences, man. And like all these experiences that you've had, like, I don't know. I look at that and I think, wow, man, that is a fucking incredible story. Like to be able to go through all these things, then also be the president and fucking like that erratic at the time, and experience all, and then be here today to be like, wow, I experienced all that, and then now your experience is a whole new chapter.
Yes,
it's a whole new chapter of experience, and it's beautiful in itself. And but across the whole thing, it's all one big journey.
Yeah, that's it, man.
It's one big journey,
trust
man.
the process, you know.
Every day contributes to that journey. Every minute contributes to that journey. And it's all just a journey, man. There is no destination. Like, and I love that, like you said, like I'm still a recovering addict.
Yeah.
You're not, you know that you've already set the thing, like you're kind of setting it like there is a destination, but you know you're not there yet. But I think you'll realize that there never is a destination. Well, it's just a fucking
the program
journey,
and life in general, it's progress, not perfection. I'll give you a fucking red hot tip. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's right, man. If soon as I start taking back my own will, okay, of God, and start doing it my way, trying to control it, and thinking I know everything, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just going back on the actual kind of like drug itself,
yes,
right, and what it does to us, in terms of being a stimulant, and it's cognitively constantly stimulating you, right? Ice,
yes,
methamphetamine, because it's stimulating you. How does it feel now that you've had to kind of slow everything right down, and come back to kind of like that room that's a quiet meditation?
Yes,
right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, really, really good question. So I obviously got ADD, okay, undiagnosed, okay. This year I'm going to look into that. But when I got on the ice, my head would just go fucking quiet. It was great. You know, like I didn't care about money, didn't care about dramas, didn't care about club, didn't care about relationships. I would just be okay, sit in my car using meth. It was quiet. Now that I'm off it, my head's noisy. It wants to go. You know what I mean? You know, that's the truth, you know.
But isn't that every male that exists?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we wake up, we got pressure. We've got to pay bills. We've got to be a good dad. We've got to be this. That's why meditation's massive for me. I listen. You know, when I meditate, it's like, so if I pray, I'm talking to God. When I meditate, he's talking to me. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So hearing the message. And I've got to listen. There's no point meditating if I'm not going to take nothing away with it. And there's no point learning tools if I ain't going to fucking use them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So,
And what kind of advice would you give someone about meditation and how to start meditation? Because
it's frowned upon. It's like, so I do a lot of breathing, and I was a big advocate for the first one. I used to call them hippies, first of all. I used to call, if you meditated or you've done this kind of weird breathing shit, I just used to call you a hippie. Yeah. Mate, surrender. So when I work with a client now, the first session is breath work. I take them there and it's breath work.
Nice.
And I just say straight out to them, surrender, wave the white flag, get vulnerable, and just shut up and listen, because we've got one mouth and two ears for a reason. Yeah. We should be listening more than we talk. You know what I mean? That's the truth. So shut up and just listen, you know, and trust the progress. And most of the time they come out like, man, that was fucking amazing. I had to do that. I've got to do that. You know?
I feel like it's 1,000 times more powerful coming from you to them, because they can relate to you like, oh man, this big bikey guy's telling me to breathe. Like, it's weird. You know, they can connect. Right. Whereas like if a hippie's coming up to you and saying, you're like, fuck this cunt. But they can connect with you. And that's your superpower. Like in that sector, that's your superpower. Like they respect you. Like, man, this guy was who I am, like I can relate with this guy. You know, and if he's telling me to do it, fuck, I better fucking do it.
Yeah, Paulie's got a really good point, because in psychology and in research in psychology, is 80% of therapeutic success is rapport.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I can know all the tools in my box, but if someone comes and they're not in that room, they're not going to listen.
That's right.
But
Spot on,
they're in that room,
trust that bond.
and they go, I'm willing to buy whatever this person sells.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
And that's why rapport is so important. And how can you get on that person's level?
Yes,
right?
Spot on.
Because it's an exchange.
It is.
Everything, when you're talking to someone, it's a vibrational exchange, right? I'm hearing your voice and it's vibrating back and forth, right? You're listening to it. I'm listening to it. You're waiting. And so that's why it's really important to kind of go, how can I build rapport? That's the first and foremost thing.
Trust and gelling well with the person.
Yeah.
If you're drawn to these conversations, chances are you care about how you think and how you feel. Our C60 was created for that intersection, supporting your body while you do the work. It's linked below.
And I've on both sides now. I've been on that side where I've had to face counsellors and behaviour change programs and drug and alcohol counsellors, and I just don't gel well. I'm just doing it to get the tick and flick and make parole happy or corrections happy or whatever, to get a mad report for court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that easy to do?
I'd just listen and shut. I'd be on drugs as I was listening. Mate. I'm a people's pleaser, so I'll sell all to the Arabs, mate. You know, like I'm a sales. That's how I am. You know, I've got the bluff. I've got the gift of the gab. So here I am speaking to a counsellor, and they're thinking, fucking, oh, he's really engaging and this and that. You know what I mean? I was manipulative. You know what I mean?
You're speaking to a 35-year-old Karen that's never done drugs. How can you respect her? As in, how can you connect with 35-year-old Karen that doesn't know fucking nothing about what you've been? I feel like to be a counselor for someone that's been on drugs, I feel like you need to have gone through that journey. Right? How can you connect with that person? Yeah, well, that's right. And instead of, I should have kind of put my hand up and said to the parole board, hey, listen, I don't really gel well with, Sue. Get me something else. No, I didn't want to, because I didn't want to change. I was like, mate, I'll tell you whatever you need to hear. Just fill my box out, butter, you know? So, you know what I mean? So and now being on this side, when I meet clients, I just say straight out, mate, if you don't gel with me, that is totally fine. You know, go to someone you gel with. I don't want your business. I don't want it, mate. I don't want your money, mate, you know?
And going back on that just quickly, the life cycle of someone that goes through this type of work in therapy, someone might have 5 counselors in their whole life, right? Where you might be their first one, I might be their second one, Paul might be their third one that he speaks to. And then they get to, and they're kind of like slowly doing the work, not ready. They get all the tools. Then they get to Jono and they go, I'm ready to do the work. And Jono goes, this guy's ready. Easy. So everything is about timing.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. Yeah, it's true. I definitely agree, brother. Yeah.
Everything is always about timing.
Right,
and that's why, as a therapist, you always have to drop your ego.
Yeah, man.
If someone doesn't want to kind of get that help, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
right? You can't, that's fighting friction with friction. You can't really do anything if no one really wants to get the work done.
It's great, man.
But they got to do the work.
Of course.
Right? Therapy is about making the therapist redundant. So he's not doing or she's not doing the work. Right? You're meant to make the therapist not do any work, where you're going there and you're just talking to a kind of mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of like talking things through. That's when therapy works.
It's awesome, man. Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever go on the journey of like disappointing yourself, where it's like you're like, oh, that's it, I'm not going to do it this time, and then like I'm done, you know, and then going back and then doing it again, and then like being really disappointed? Like, was that a long journey, like that scenario?
Mate, if you put me on a lie detector after a bender, so, you know, like I could go for 10 days, I'd come home, I'd surrender, I'd sleep, I'd eat, I'd wake up. If you put me on a lie detector, I would have passed. Because denial stands for don't even know I'm lying, right? Now, I would have passed, okay?
Yeah.
But because I was so powerless, I would be on autopilot, okay? Cleaning the pipe, packing the pipe, putting it to I'd be on fucking autopilot.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not going to drink today. I'd be on autopilot, not going to drink. Pull up to the bottle shop. I'd have a drink in my hand. You know what I mean? Then I'd start making excuses. Well, you know, today and only one, but I need to get to work, so I'll have one. That's the stuff.
Yeah.
It was just out of control.
Yeah,
like
wow.
I could stop, but I couldn't stay stopped. You know? Yeah. The disappointment, mate, I used to look at myself in the mirror and I was very vain, you know, like very, very vain. It comes to a point I used to look in the mirror. I couldn't even look in the mirror. I could not look in the mirror.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I'd go to solariums, I'd shoot steroids, just so when people see me, they're like, oh, Joel, you're looking good. Mate, I wasn't fucking doing good, man. You know what I mean? Because I brave face, mask.
Yeah.
People pleasing. I mean,
no, for sure.
So what was the kind of absolute rock bottom? Was it mental or was it physical?
Yeah, good question, brother. I wasn't aware if I would say spiritual, but I didn't experience spiritually yet, you know, but I would definitely say spiritual. Yeah, mentally, wasn't physically, just mentally, man. You know, unliving myself. That come up once. I was at Northlands car park and I jumped out of the car and I looked over the Northlands car park and I thought, fucking jump, Joel. He goes, mate, you're letting down everyone. Your parents don't talk to you. You don't show up for your kids. You know, really, really thing.
So you thought about killing yourself?
Yeah. Yep. So that was, I was, you know, and I thought, mate, just fucking jump. You know, selfish me, got in the car for another pipe and, you know, obviously saved my life. You know what I mean?
I forgot.
But you know what I mean? But I it ran through my head, man. You know, but I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be here anymore. But I used to wake up, stolen cars, erratic situations. Mate, I did not want to be here. So, but today I do, you know.
What was the thing that kind of pulled you out of that?
What's that for? That time at the car park?
Wanting to be here. Like, what was the thing that made you want to be here, like mentally? And what was what was the thing that mentally drove you to kind of push the addiction or squash the addiction?
Well, I suppose I surrendered at the start, you know, to staying clean. I can relate to that. So I can answer that because on staying clean, the reason showing up and showing up for people, you know, again, I've still got people pleasing traits today. Okay. So people, by me doing what I'm doing today, giving service and working in the field, I feel wanted. So it's validating me still because I still got some validation issues, right?
Yeah.
Still got that. So today I'm wanted, I'm known, I'm wanted in the right reasons, but that, you know, and I don't want my son to remember the Joel Brown bikie drug addict criminal. I need him to, you know, my old man's in the game of saving lives because that's what we're doing, right? So yeah.
For me personally, I am the only person that can disappoint me. No one else. I'm not a person on earth can disappoint me. I'm the only one. I literally no matter what you say, you promise me the world, you can't disappoint me, because I'm responsible for everything. Like I'm the center of my own world in a non-selfish way. It's like, for example, like right now, like through Lent, I'm pledging celibacy, right? So I don't want to do anything with that, right? So I'm just like pledging myself, and if I do it, the only person I'm facing is myself. And that's like the dark day for me. Like, so if I let myself down, that's the darkest day. If anyone else lets me down, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I got to hold strong with everything. Like, if I say I'm not drinking, I don't drink. Like, and if I do, I'm like, fuck, I'm so down on myself, you know, like,
yeah,
to the point where like I've faced my own addictions. And one thing that I did was like, and I've always kind of like had addictions, but I've always had a connection with God.
yes,
That was the thing that saved me, I think. And I would write in a diary that I would literally say like, God, if I do this thing again, I want to die. I want to die. I would just say that. Like, that's how, like, I would say like, you know, if I do it again, like, please, like, I want to die. Like, as in, and then like, it would come to that point and I'd be like, I said at one point that if I do this, I'm going to die. So don't do that thing. Like, I had to go so deep inside to like, I know it's probably an unconventional way of doing it, but like, I had to like come up with these scenarios where like, I can't let myself down. Like, I got to put myself first. And then like, I couldn't face myself if I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And like over the years, you know, that was probably 6 years ago. Over the years, like, that's like, it's built me to be who I am today. Like, I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, but to myself,
yes,
not to anyone else.
Yeah.
If I say I'm going to do something, you got to fucking do it. Like,
Yeah,
you can't let yourself down.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that's the most important. My reason is me. Like, if I've got a daughter, I need to show up for her. But if I'm not showing up for me, I'm not showing up for anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to put you first in the most selfless way possible. I'm not doing it to be selfish. I'm doing it because if I'm on drugs and alcohol and porn every day, I'm not a good father to my daughter.
Yeah,
but I have to put me first. I'm not putting her first.
Yeah.
Whereas people think, oh, I've got to be there for them, and they neglect themselves.
Yes,
It's a recipe for disaster.
Well, they say, and I live by this. I put my recovery before, and I am my recovery, so I can relate to that, before anything, brother. Anything, okay? Because whatever I put in front of recovery, I'm going to lose in the long run anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, mate, I got my son Presley every second week on Saturdays. Mate, I want to sleep in with him. I want to fucking lay there and snuggle him and eat. But 7 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays, AM, I go to a recovery meeting, you know, and he's there when I get back. But if I don't do that, I'll run rough, I'll use, he won't be in my life anymore. So I can relate to that, brother.
Yeah, I love that.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, discipline's the number one form of self-love, man. So that self-respect, that self-love goes a long way, man. And something that, like, when Paul and I first got into like a health and wellness journey, we'd always think about like the compounding interest, like and there was something that we used to always talk about, like, I don't know if the stat was true, but something that we used to always talk about was like, apparently it takes 7 years for every single cell to go through a cycle in your body.
Yeah, wow.
You know, so it's like, what would life be like 7 years not on drugs? You know what I mean? You've experienced 2 years, but some of those cells have the memory of the state of consciousness when you were on the drugs or when you were experiencing something like that.
Yeah,
it's something we used to always think about. And I don't know if the stat's true, like the 7 year thing, but it's a great thing to think about. It's a great thing to, like, you know, a great perspective to have, because it's like, fuck, there's so much ahead in this life. Like, this is only the beginning. What happens after 10, 20 years of just like consistent, you know? And it can get deeper than just like your morning ritual. It's like the way you move, the way you train, the way you think, the way you eat, the way you sleep, and all these things, like, you know, over years of compounding, man, it's like powerful.
Mate, I can really resonate with that, because when I first got clean of drugs and alcohol, a good man said to me, hey, Jolie, go 30 days clean and sober, but work a program. Because there's two clean and sobers. If you're clean and sober, all right, and you don't work a program, you're called a dry drunk or a dry addict. If you be around these people, you feel like just saying, brother, go have a fucking drink. You're a miserable fuck, yeah? Okay? Then there's obviously working a program, okay? And whatever that program may look, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? But he said to me, he goes, Jolie, give me 30 days, clean and sober, and work a program. You don't like it? Oh, fucking swear I'll drive you back to your drug dealer's house. So I'm like, mate, okay, let's do that. That sounds amazing. You know what I mean? Like, mate, it's a win-win situation here. You know what I mean? I'm fucking, mate, why not? Okay, let's do that. So I done that. I did do that. This in rehab, my counsellor said this to me, and I thought, all right, bro, I'll give you a crack. Yeah, whatever. I done that. 30 days, clean and sober. Only a lousy 30 days was way better than the 15, 16 years I've just spent in addiction. So like you just said before, if 30 days I feel like this, imagine 30 years, imagine 3 years, imagine. So that's what stuck around. I'll be honest, that's what stuck around. The best is yet to come.
Yeah.
They keep telling me and I'm like, mate,
Love that.
but I'm okay with this. I'm good what I've got. Jolie, the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
This wasn't on my menu, this shit. No way. Speaking in front of cameras, helping other people's.
Being a hippie.
Wasn't. Getting vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like,
Having your own acronyms.
was not on my fucking menu, man. You know what I mean? But this is the stuff. So that's what I mean, you know, like this is the stuff. The best is yet to come. Mate, I sat there and said, mate, but it's okay right now. Brother, keep showing up, keep doing it, and the best is yet to come. Yeah, you get hard days, 100%, brother. Fuck, people die, all sorts of stuff, and debt, financial. But clean and sober, it'll work out well for you.
One thing I really love what you've said there, which is what, you know, we've taught a lot of people in drug and alcohol programs in prisons and in my personal private practice, is something called a dopamine deficit, right?
Mhm.
Have you heard of it?
Or have, yeah.
So basically what Joel's talking about is dopamine we can get from eating chocolate, right? I've drawn a little kind of graph and I'll show you guys. Oops. Hopefully you can see it. So eating chocolate, drinking alcohol, people get kind of a dopamine hit, right? Can you see here? All right. Can you guys see here? This is kind of, that small graph is, hang on one second. Hang on, I'll lock it, yeah. All right. So you can see here, that small graph here is chocolate, right?
Mhm.
It's almost at 100% dopamine hit, right? Then there's kind of like hugging your loved one or someone telling you you're an amazing person. Then there's sex, right? Which is about close to 70% dopamine hit, right? Then there's ice, which is 200%, right? And that's research that shows ice hits 200% dopamine, right? It's giving you unnatural levels of dopamine. So what happens is
It's borrowing
people,
from the future.
so then people go into what they call a dopamine deficit, right? And so then what happens is Jolie might see his mate, or Jolie might go to hang out with the kids while he's sober and go, I don't really feel anything here. This doesn't really feel good. I don't really feel good eating this chocolate. I don't really feel good having this sex because it's not the same as having
one
sex.
hit, you got to stack the wins, yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
It really does. Yeah. So today,
Yeah.
that's 100%. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I jumped out of a plane a couple months ago, and I swear, I'm not joking. I'm not air raiding. I'm not being an egoed bastard. It wasn't much top. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like, you know what I mean? I was like, wasn't even scared. I was just like, you know what I mean? Because I put my fucking body through everything, right?
Yeah.
But that stuff, I really like that stuff because today what I try to do is, like you said, hug the kids, do all these stuff to stack these wins. That's what I've got to do today in the day, you know, and no, it doesn't give me that first blast, but I try to stack them up to that 200%. And I try to stack that, you know, I'll ring some loved ones, I'll train, of course, I'll do all these stack the little wins because from a life where I just want it now. I'm a gambler. I want the jackpot now. I want the quick earn now. I want everything, you know, impatient stuff, right? But now, if I slow it down, if I just stack them little wins, at the end of the day, I've got my good, you know, dopamine. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not the one hit. Well, I jumped out of a plane. I wasn't even phased by it.
In 7 years' time, when all your cells are regenerated, your dopamine will so you got something to look for.
And that's what it is, right? You know, a lot of people, you know, even when I work with youth, you know, in youth prisons as well, when I was working with youth, is we would say to them, go motorbike riding,
brother.
go jump out of a plane,
Yes.
go do all these kind of like legal activities where you can get that massive quick rush of dopamine, because some people are just, their base level, they need more than the average person.
Yeah, spot on.
Right? In terms of that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And I think for you, it sounds like it was for you
That's
as well,
what it
right?
is. Yeah, that's right.
Just a question on that is Is that why a lot of people now are addicted to social media?
Yeah.
So like especially people who need more
Well, it's cheap
validation,
dopamine.
chasing.
Well, because there's a
that.
difference between cheap dopamine and natural forms of dopamine, right? Natural forms is I'm going to go sit out in the sun and just lay there. That takes time, right? Sitting at the beach with nothing else, just listening to the waves takes time, right? Sitting in a spa bath, you know, they're natural kind of forms of dopamine, right? They take time, whereas people get so addicted now to the kind of cheaper forms. And so then they're constantly chasing the cheap forms.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Get a spray tan and then post a thing and then, you know what I mean? Pose or, you know, shoot melatonin, go to solarium and then you got it. But you know what I mean? It's true, Bubba. It's so true.
And that's the thing,
mindfulness
right?
is out of the door, man.
Yeah,
mindfulness is everything, right?
and
we don't look at it.
You know, like, I'll give you an example, right? I've got a client that says to me that he's constantly stressed. He's always got a lot on his head. But now he's just tried to change one thing, which is how he eats. He's tried to mindfulness eat.
Yeah. Very hard.
Right?
Yeah,
and because he's mindfully eating,
awesome.
He's able to kind of then
slow it down somewhere else.
Slow it down, slow down the stress.
Yeah.
Kind of take things one step at a time, right?
Yeah, spot on.
And I think that's why it's super important to know your body and to know what other things, you know, have that humility, understand what when your ego is talking.
Yeah.
And when
just have that awareness around the day.
Have that awareness around what is that kind of cheap dopamine that you're chasing.
And eating not stressed goes a long way too. It's like a small thing, but it's actually a big thing.
It's massive, man.
Because when you're eating stressed out, your body doesn't digest well. We can get into that. But I reckon, Joel, you've got some really good stories, man, with all this experience. I reckon we should hear some stories. What do you reckon? Like, just like, I don't know, something that's shareable, but like something like as like being the president of a bikie club, something from like an egotistical, give us a couple of different stories. I don't know. And potentially some of the union stuff too, man.
Oh, union stuff. Yeah. Obviously that's a buzzword at the moment. The union stuff. Like, yeah, man. I was obviously tapped on the shoulder, being a concreter. And I was a concreter this time. I was a part of a club as well. And just boxing. I got the tap on the shoulder for the CFMEU. And I had a voice on site. So if something wasn't right, I would be the one to say, mate, it ain't right. You know, didn't really give a fuck about our bosses, to be honest with you, you know. And then you
didn't give a fuck about your bosses, you're saying?
No, I didn't give. No, if something wasn't right, it wasn't right, mate. You know what I mean? Unsafe or wasn't right, it just wasn't right. You know, Clement weather, you know, bosses like to push, and I'd just say, well, mate, you know, I wouldn't take the piss, but I was always that voice amongst the concrete crew and on site, you know. The union got a sniff of it and tapped me on the shoulder and asked me if I was to be a delegate, you know, and so that was okay. Got my own jobs and stuff like that. It was really, really good.
What's a delegate?
So a union delegate is somebody that you're delegated from the union, okay, from the CFMEU or whatever union actually. Every union's got them. And again, you are the mediator of the bloke. The site might have 150, 200 people, 300, 400 people. You're the mediator between the boss and the men, okay? So instead of you saying, oh, mate, you know, there's a bit of water up there, and because you know what, let's be honest, the truth is, if you turn around and talk about water or talk about a edge that's live or something that's unsafe, I'll give you the red hot tip. Couple of weeks later, they're going to hand you your redundancy form, mate.
Wow.
That's the go, right? So this is the stuff that the news doesn't talk about, right? Listen, okay, that's the truth, all right? Wow. So, well, you're troublemaker, you know, stuff like that. Now, so you're the voice.
Wow.
The 400 blokes, 200 blokes, 100 blokes, okay? So you're the voice. So you don't lag the bloke. So, you know, you might come and have a yarn to me about your pay or something like that. Again, I've got to navigate that because if your pay's wrong, I can't up and go, Mitch's pay's wrong. I've got to say, listen, I'm doing an audit. I want to see the boys' pays. So see that transferable skill, you've got to mediate it really, really differently.
Wow.
Okay, you've got to be very, very careful on throwing a bloke under the ruck here, you know? So, all right, so, you know, so then you're the pillow, you're the mediation through the, so that was grouse. That suited me to a T. I was used to it. It was like second nature for me. It was great. You were talking about the protest, I suppose.
No, just the protest. But I just wanted to ask, what's the, because obviously it's a hot topic right now. What's the dodgiest thing that you've seen within the CFMEU? that you can share?
Look, I dare say, you know, allegedly that it was some people kind of booking, you know, booking the hours, you know. But in saying that,
What does that mean?
So the union's one banner, okay? The union's one banner. It's just like it's CFMU. Yous can go be members of the CFMU tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. There's no filter. There's no background check. You can be a member of CFMU. Okay. I'll take your money. You want to be a member? Be a member. If you then go to site and you go to strippers on the weekends or you sell drugs or you do whatever you do, right? That's your issue, not the CFMU issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what the press has got it confused. Just because you wear a jumper, which I can get online and buy use all CFMU jumpers now, yeah? We can go commit crime, yeah? Us, that's nothing to do with the fucking union.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that's where I think the press is getting it wrong. Listen, a lot of stuff, did it happen, did it not? Allegedly stuff was, you know, I'm Joel, I'm looking after this builder. And I might say you might have a painting company and you might have a plastering company and you want, you know, this builder's work. And I'll say, well, yeah, sweet. And I'll make an introduction. I'll make sure they use you and I'll get a little snip on top. You know what I mean? Is that illegal? I'm not too sure.
All.
But that's the stuff where they're going on about, man.
Is that what the problem is at the moment?
They're saying that's illegal. I mean, like, oh, you know, guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty. That stuff. I'm introducing two blokes, a bloke to, you know, two men, and
getting a snip.
and by mean, nothing was forced. So I didn't say to this builder, "Hey, you better use this painter." If the price is right, the price is right.
Yeah.
If I get a lick out,
if I go to a labour and recruit company, I pay $80 to the recruiter. They pay him $60. They're getting a snip. It's the same. It's kind of
just, you know, I just listen. The CFMU are a multi-billion dollar thing. You know, you got Incolink, C-Bus, and membership. Billions of dollars.
Wow.
Did the government want their hooks in to invest where they wanted to invest? Maybe. You know, this is all alleged stuff, you know. But, you know, the likes of, you know, the people they're putting on news today, you know, you need a mediation everywhere you go. It's not illegal to mediate. You know,
I think it's fair, especially when your government's that corrupt as it is. Like, there needs to be, like, I think that's what men of society are for. Like, that's how governments really get formed. It's men, dominant men of society coming together to say, hey, we're going to run the show and keep everyone safe. It's not
and it is.
It's a normal thing.
And like I said to you, and make no mistake, if I wasn't on them sites and a mediator between the builder, a lot of blokes would lose their jobs because they're just saying, hey, mate, you know, there's a live edge over there. I could, you know, so-and-so can fall over and kill themselves. And you'd be like, yeah, they'll fix it. And then guess what? See redundancy time? You're looked at like a troublemaker, you'd be getting the ass.
Yeah.
That's why the unions are there. Did they push their boundaries? I'm not too sure. That was above my pay grade, you know what I mean?
But so it was all higher level stuff, like even like maybe the government corruption or stuff like that.
You know, I know there was, you know, the COVID jab stuff, right? Should we have kind of put a fork in the sand and said, listen, you know, we don't have to make it mandate for the COVID jab stuff? Yeah, maybe. We had the power. You know what I mean? We could stop the streets. We could just all march for it. Yeah, maybe. And that's why I think a lot of people upset that, you know, the union said, nah, you know, we're backing the government on this one. You know, like I said, above my pay grade, you know. But I get it.
Did you see eye to eye with it at the time?
No, I did not.
Okay.
You know what? I went down there to back the union office because I heard it was under threat. So I left my job and I went down there. And it surely was under threat. We're outnumbered. I give you the tip. But this didn't flare up till like 4 or 5 o'clock, okay? Okay? So everyone was there at the start. I was there very early. I got called down. What's going on? It was kind of us and them. Didn't know why. We're all members, okay?
Because obviously that authority's coming from like a government official more than it is the CFMU, surely. Like,
yeah, well,
like potentially like Dan Andrews at the time would have been
whatever they've done,
pulling threats.
That's whatever that may look.
Who called? Was it like? Who made the call to you? Was it like John Sedka? Like who made the call?
No. I just got a call off organizer and say, mate, it's kind of there's a bit of RG. It's kind of there's a protest. So as a unionist, if there's a protest, I drop tools. I leave my job and make sure my job's safe at all times. Make sure somebody's there. I said, well, do you want my job to leave? No. Okay, sweet. I'll pop down. I didn't know what I was walking into. I really didn't.
yeah,
I walked in and I've seen us and them. Them was my members. My
The guys that you protect every day.
Oh my God, of course.
Yeah,
Wow.
At the start, all good, laughing, knew everyone. Let's be honest, you know. Hours and hours later, alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there orchestrators in the crowd? Not, them professional protesters? Not sure. Okay. They wanted answers. There was no answers coming from our end. Like I said, after, that old, with the whole, like, you throw it first. After one stubby was thrown, it was on. Alcohol involved, a lot of anger, man, because we're getting told to put this stuff in our body, and our union's not backing us. That's how obviously them men looked at it. So I had an open mind. I mean, mate, I get it, but I'm loyal to my union. This is not the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
And it just escalated really quick.
I feel like that was the dividing point where like after that movement that day, then there was like a big march the next day. They shut down construction for 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a big, like, crucial moment.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was there. I was on the other side of you, I wasn't there to fight. I was there. I'm not even a member, but I was like, there's men on the street right now. I'm against this. There's men on the street right now fighting for me because I don't want to get the jab. Yeah. I'm a boss.
That's right.
I'm a boss,
that's
but
right,
I'm not a bitch. I want to stand there with them and march with them.
And say
they're not going to march for me and my family. I'm going to march too.
Spot on, man.
I didn't go there to fight. I was there just to show face, be a man, and say, hey, I'm against this. Like, let's get together with these boys. We're on the same. I was speaking to you boys. I was like, we're on the same team. Why we're not up against each other? Yeah. We're on the same team, boys. We're the men. We run the society. We are the men. Let's get together and fucking make a change, But I feel like it did though. I feel like it did what it needed to do because they're like, man, men are standing up now. The union, like, as in, I feel like that was a big turning point because they're like, fuck, men are here. Yeah. Like they're standing up. Yeah. They're not in their house at 5 p.m.
And that's the downfall to protesting because like the march was probably so powerful and it was probably gaining the numbers. People were coming down. The numbers got really big that day. Yeah. How hard is it for government officials to throw a few guys in there to say, hey, cause havoc, make it a war between each other, and then the whole scope of what we were there for gets down the drain.
Yeah, well,
because it turns violence. It gives them the opportunity to bring in riot police. It's like it's so easy, man. But like
100%.
They're playing a smarter game. They're sitting from their office and they're playing a way better game. That's why, like, when it comes to this stuff, I think as men especially, because men are there to protect the like, you got to put it as like back in the days, 1,000 years ago, men would go to war. We'd have to go on our horses and, and you'd go and you'd fight to make sure that like this army wasn't going to invade your town or whatever it is to protect the women and the children, and that's a modern day sort of scenario of that, the men hitting the streets to protect their families, man. So like, but I think the problem is we don't have guidance. It's like everyone just hits the streets and then we can very easily get infiltrated by
and
the
with
other
alcohol involved because there was alcohol involved.
Just lastly, I know we're going to wrap it up now. What's the future look like for Jolie B?
Yeah, for Jolie B, man. Okay, so I've established Dusk Till Dawn support work. Nice. Okay, my missus does the NDIS sides of things, nice. And I do men and women in construction, not union, because that's got ADA and IncoLink, which are great services, by the way. Mm-hmm. I try to tackle the gap, so the tier 3 non-EBA stuff. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of builders. And I go and share my experience around the stuff, and I work one-on-ones and stuff like that. That's just one sector of it. I'm fighting for my working with children's check at the moment due to having a colourful history. They've told me no, but I'm fighting it through VCAT, which that's okay. I get it, So I'll just see how that process pans out. If it pans out, I'll be working with youth. My massive goal is to start I'm in the process of doing a non-profitable organisation, and it's going to be called the North Project. North with an F.
Nice, I like
Yep,
that.
North with an F. The North Project, and that's going to be in the heart of the northern suburbs,
Nice.
and it's going to be it's a hub, a safe place where there's a little bit of boxing, a bit of wrestling. I'm going to run a cafe at the front to put some money into it as well to fund, but. Once a week you'll be doing, I'm going to run barista courses out of there.
Nice.
And the back, I've got a friend of mine, Jordan, which runs the barber club. He's going to go there twice a week and run a barber's course, I'm not too sure of the days.
Nice.
Okay. So this youth hub, not a youth hub because it's just a safe hub for any age. We'll have to navigate it, of course, due to risk. He's going to be training barista courses,
Nice.
barber courses, because mate, then you can jump on a plane and go to dead set North Pole and work as a barber and a coffee maker. You know what I mean? So it's an all-rounder. A little bit of boxing and just run hectic groups out of it, mate. So I just want that funded and stuff like that. We'll probably stay away from government funding at times, a lot of red tape there. But there's a lot of people that love that stuff and will kick in. So that's my aim goal. I'll do one-on-ones for brothers and, brothers in addiction.
Nice.
And so like I said, my aim is I'll do a little bit with 16 yards in and stuff, just 18 to 25 as yet. And if I get my children's check, well, there's no holding me back. So
I think also like being with the history you have, ex-president and all the stuff, I think people can really relate to it, as you said earlier, and like you'll really get far with it, man. And good work. I think it's really good to like someone coming from where you've come from to be doing what you're doing is going to make such a big impact, man. And I guess like that's what brotherhood's about, bro. And like we're here to help out if any way possible. And
thanks for sharing your
it's
story,
a beautiful thing. Thank you.
honestly,
Thank you
thank
so
you for opening a safe place today. It's been great, man. Really comfortable.
Is there anything we should have asked that we didn't?
No way. No, I don't think so. Nah, mate. It's been great. It's been really, really good.
I've got one last question to close it off.
Talk to me, brother.
Being sitting here today, the man you are right now, if you could look back at anything, like, is there any regrets or you're just happy with who you are today?
Nah, so, this question pops up, what advice would I give a Joel Brown at 13 years old? I would say stay that little boy with glasses and just let life happen, surrender. You know what I mean? That's the advice I've got to give to my kid, man. So it's a very powerful question, brother. Yeah,
I love it.
God bless, man. Thank you.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
Lots of love. If you're still listening, we're giving away 5 free bottles of C60 to the first 5 people who comment reflection on any of our pinned posts. God bless. Thank you.